Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to take this moment to say thank you for listening to the Real ResQ podcast. It means a lot to me that you enjoy these stories as much as I do. Since the start of this podcast, we've had a lot of support from all over the world. It has been amazing. Now, we have companies joining our team that also want to say thank you for all that you are doing out there standing the watch. These companies are offering discounts on their products as a way to support the rescue community and those tuning into the Real ResQ podcast. Just go to therealresq.com, click on sponsors, and see these incredible offers for yourself. This episode of the Real ResQ podcast is brought to you by Breeze Eastern, the world's only dedicated helicopter hoist and winch provider. Axness, because when lives are at stake and conditions are challenging, clear communication is of the utmost importance. SR3 Rescue Concepts, because you don't know what you don't know. And Airwave, the Airwave Performance Mouthpiece, helping you to use breathing to your advantage. Breeze Eastern, they dedicate themselves to our helicopter rescue world. Since the very first helicopter rescue in November of 1945, Breeze Eastern has designed and manufactured superior rescue hoist solutions. While much of the technology and the unique mission requirements have changed over the past 75 years, their commitment to the rescuers, the operators, and those being rescued has not. Contact them today by visiting them at breeze-eastern.com. The Axness PNG wireless ICS system can bring cutting-edge wireless intercommunication system technology to any aircraft. The PNG system can be fully integrated into an existing ICS system or can be carried on and off as a mobile base station. They can go anywhere at any time on any aircraft. Plus, with the strongest and most robust waterproof handheld on the market, this system can take a hit and keep working. Their wireless intercom systems are designed to enhance situational awareness through improved communication capability. This system brings superior noise canceling technology to eliminate rotor wash and engine noise from your ICS. The Axness PNG wireless system is currently deployed in more than 1,800 public safety, air ambulance, and search and rescue aircrafts worldwide. I have personally used the Axness system in 4 different countries and on 5 different airframes. It is awesome. If you want more information, contact them today at axness.com. That's AXNES.com. You just make sure you tell them Quinny sent me. SR3 Rescue Concepts is a training company that can help your helicopter training. They train daytime, nighttime, aerial firefighting, hoist, long line, fast rope, rappel, and more. They can assist your program with standardization and safety checks or just an FAA annual refresher. With the certified flight instructor pilots and experienced crew, they are ready to help your agency keep up to date with current techniques, rules, regulations, and equipment. Plus, right now, SR3 is offering 10% off anything in their web store with the promo code, all capital letters, Real ResQ, REALRESQ. Plus, they are offering another 10% from their partners Petzl and their equipment. All you got to do is send an email to info@sr3rescueconcepts.com, mention this podcast, and they'll take care of the rest. And Airwave. What if I told you that you could train harder for longer and recover faster just by wearing a mouthpiece? I know, I questioned it too. Then I gave it a try. The Airwave Performance Mouthpiece is a breakthrough in performance technology that is scientifically proven with over 15 years of peer-reviewed, published research at the Citadel to open your airway by 25% for improved breathing, resulting in a 20% decrease in respiratory rate, an increase in muscular endurance, and 50% reduction in cortisol levels post-workout. Now, what does this mean to me? Well, now I'm able to train harder, recover faster, and be even more prepared for when that SAR alarm goes off. You don't need to take my word for it. Try it yourself and see how you can use your breathing to your advantage. Go to airwave.com or visit them on Instagram at airwave to learn more about it. Then, when you're ready to give it a try, because you heard about it here at the Real ResQ, you get 10% off with the promotion code Real ResQ, RealResQ. Coming up next, we've got another United States Coast Guard rescue swimmer brother and his amazing career and incredible stories. So please welcome our next guest, United States Coast Guard rescue swimmer number 514, Mr. PJ Ornot. My name is Jason Quinn. I am United States Coast Guard rescue swimmer number 500. These are my rescues and rescues from those of us that put our lives on the line every day so others may live. This is the Real ResQ podcast. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Real ResQ podcast. I've got another one of my brothers with me. Just so happened, this is United States Coast Guard rescue swimmer number 514, Mr. PJ Ornot. What's up, brother? How you doing?
What's up, boy? How are you, Quinny?
Dude, I'm fantastic. Good to see you, man. We just talked a minute ago. We were hanging out at the rescue swimmer reunion, and I was like, "Hey, why weren't you there?" And you're like, "I was there." That's how we got talking. I'm like, "Oh yeah." Right. So I roped you into coming on, and when the email started, it was like, "Oh yeah, there's this one and this one and this one and this one." I was like, "What the heck?" So welcome to the show, man. I'm stoked to have you on.
Yeah, man, my pleasure. Thanks for having me, dude. This is great. This is good stuff.
Yeah,
good stuff.
So we get an opportunity to go through a lot of your career, and in the stuff that you sent me, we're going to talk about 7 of your rescues. That's right, 7. And that doesn't include all the other ones that are like in between. Oh, right. Oh my God, dude. This might turn into a very long episode. I don't even know yet. That's the greatest part about it.
It could, yeah, it could.
I love it. Oh, all right. So, but before I go that far into any of this, what I'd like to ask you to do is a little bit of background about you, and then how you came into the Coast Guard and what drove you to be a rescue swimmer.
All right, sure, man. So I did the the thing that every high school kid does. They're like going to go to college, and then dramatic fail at that. I was there for I did 1 year at one college, and did another college for a semester, and then went to a community college. I'm like, man, this is just not working out for me.
No, actually, what you said is this is draining my bank account, and I have nothing to show for it.
Yeah, I'm zero to show for it. I've switched majors 3 times, and some of them politely asked me to not come back, and then the other ones I just lost interest. So I was just kind of farting around one day and saw this. So I went to EMT school. Like, I was like, all right, let me try this. Maybe this will be a little bit fun, something to spark my interest. So went to EMT school in I think 94, 93, maybe somewhere around there. And actually, yeah, probably like 93. Got hired on as a full-time EMT in like my local little county in just outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and did that for a few months. I'm like, all right, man, I think I need a little bit more. So I started fast track paramedic program. So I was paramedic. I finished paramedic school. Actually made it through that one. That was pretty awesome.
That's a big accomplishment for those that are not paramedics. Yeah. That's a big accomplishment. Hey, well done.
Yeah, my man. But yeah, worked for a few years doing that, and then I was like, all right, what's next? Because I knew I didn't want to go to nursing school. I saw all the medevac helicopters and stuff flying around the local hospitals and stuff. I'm like, all right, maybe let me look into something like that. And then just the application process and the requirements that they wanted. I'm like, all right, no, I'm good. Like, I'll just figure something else out. And one of the guys that I worked with, he's, you know, so we were a little older. I was 24 at the time, you know, and I was working, and he's like, man, did you ever think about, we actually talked about going into the Air Force together and becoming PJs. And
Oh, nice.
I'm like, yeah, man, let's go and check this thing out, you know, whatever. And so we did, and I don't remember exactly what happened, or I didn't like how it was like back then. It was like a reserve role almost, you know. And I'm like, look, if I'm doing this, I want to be all in and get out of here. You know, I wanted to get out of Pennsylvania. Um, so I walked out, went home. I'm like, man, now what? You know, I'm like, all right, that kind of was like a kicking the nuts. I'm like, so I go back, and then in that same you know, like little strip mall area or whatever, there was a Coast Guard recruiter, you know, and obviously they had the guy hanging out the old 65, right? And I'm like,
Yeah, buddy.
oh man, I'm like, that might be all right, you know. And I walked in, and I looked like I looked nothing like the way I do now. Like, I was a little bit overweight. I smoked cigarettes, you know, and I walked in, I'm like, hey man, you know, can I do that? And he's like, you can do whatever you want, you know. And I'm like, all right, you know. And I kind of gave him my background. He's like, man, why don't you go be a corpsman? I'm like, I'm like, no, yeah. I'm like, I want something a little bit more. And he's like, sure, sign here, you know. So took my ASVAB, and I left I left like a month later, dude. I was gone, and went through boot camp. Actually got recruited with another dude from that area that made it through swimmer school as well. He was in the class right after me, but so that was pretty cool. Like, the recruiter that got us, like, got two dudes through the same boot camp, and both of us made it through school. Um,
Wow.
but yeah, and then that was it. And went to my my little ice breaking tug up in New Haven, Connecticut, where I'm pretty sure I didn't even know where Connecticut was. And I wanted anything warm, you know. I was like, give me like south of Virginia, and they're like, Connecticut, and I'm like, what the shit, man? I'm like, I don't even know where Connecticut is. And then that was it. I went there, and you know, airman put my name on the school list. Got sent to Savannah. I was an airman for maybe 2 months, and I was actually visiting my wife, but she was, man, I guess she was my girlfriend at the time. She lived in Virginia Beach, and my the chief calls me, and he's like, hey PJ, he's like, you still want to be a swimmer? And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm just on vacation. I was like, yeah, you know, of course, yes, chief, I'm just on vacation. And he's like, all right, you start Monday, and this is like Friday, and I'm like,
Like,
what are you
start
talking
school
about?
Monday.
Start school Monday. And
Okay,
I'm like,
so
what are
wait,
you talking?
let me pause real quick, because like
Yeah.
you and I went through it about the same time. We were
Mhm.
supposed to go through a 4-month airman program at the
Yep.
unit. So for them to call you 2 months in to be
Yep.
like, oh, you're starting Monday, you're like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what? That's
Yeah.
like a mind job number
Yeah.
one going into school.
Yeah.
Oh!
I was like, what? And he's like, you're going. I'm like, fuck, man. All right, no worries. So I beat feet down to Savannah, got my orders, checked out, you know, left my apartment, and I legit had nothing in my apartment. I had a sleeping bag and like one fork, one spoon, one knife, you know. Just, I was only gonna be there a little bit of time, you know. And so yeah, I head back up to East City, and they're like, hey, you start, because I got in like, you know, the chief called him, Clay Hill called him, and he goes, hey, he needs at least like until Tuesday. And I got in like really, really late at night on Monday night, and checked in Tuesday, and they're like, go get into the barracks. They're like, come back tomorrow morning. So I started actually on the Wednesday. They did you know, I had to do my PT test by myself and all that good kind of stuff.
Oh
But
man, the boys, yeah, the
yeah,
boys had already been there.
yeah, I checked in. They're like, what the shit is this dude, you know? But I'm like,
Why are you
I don't know,
late?
bro. I'm like, I just got a phone call. Like, they say, come on. No, man.
Oh man, that's sick, dude. That's awesome. And that was really the beginning of an amazing career, because you did 20, how many years?
24.
24 years. Dang,
Yep.
man.
24.
Woo.
Yep. Yeah. Came in
That's
19.
incredible.
Yeah. Came in 98, and then just got out in May, this past May.
Yeah. Yeah. Congratulations on your retirement, man.
Thank you.
Sick.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna
All
bust
right.
out some of your rescues that you had as a
All right.
rescue swimmer. Actually, no, I'm lying. Before we do that, oh, actually, no, maybe I'm not lying because this one of them may have been your very first rescue. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. You know what?
I believe
We're gonna
so.
say this one is your very first rescue, and it just
Yeah.
so happens you got a letter of accommodation from the air station for that. So you get to wear a little
Hmm.
ribbon, which when I
Yep.
read this, I was like, what the? The fact that you got a letter of accommodation, I'm like, or letter of
Yeah.
accommodation, I was impressed. So it's kind of funny. But
Yeah.
all right, so here's the write up. I note with pride and am pleased to commend you on your performance of duty as rescue swimmer on board H606031 on 6 January 2002 while responding to a report of a 406 EPIRB 50 miles southeast of Cape Fear. You quickly gathered up all your SAR gear and expertly assisted with the installation of additional external fuel. The source of the emergency signal, commercial fishing vessel Mediterranean 2 with a crew of 6. When it became clear that the vessel was in great peril and had suffered major damage due to severe winds and in rogue waves, you completed preliminary preparation for the deployment into the angry ocean below. Your participation in planning and decision making for the upcoming rescue was invaluable to the aircraft commander and co pilot and integral to the team effort. 30 minutes prior to your aircraft's arrival on scene, an Air Facility Charleston H-65 crew had to depart with only 3 of the crew member on board due to fuel and weight limits. Realizing there was no way to communicate with the crippled vessel following yet another rogue wave, you emphasized the need to continue with the plan of the H-65 crew, in which the survival suit clad survivors jumped into the sea for the recovery with the rescue basket. Arriving on scene with the rescue checklist complete, you were deployed into the wild 20-foot seas and raging 50-mile-an-hour winds for the first recovery. Recovery of this and all remaining survivors was a tremendous challenge, with the seas breaking over your head and winds blowing the wave crest backwards into the vicious churning ocean. When you realized how far you and the survivor had drifted from the anchored vessel during the first recovery, you quickly adapted to have the remaining survivors jump into the water together to speed the recovery process. Thanks to your skill, determination, and endurance, both remaining survivors were in the helicopter almost as quick as the first. Following the total time in a hover just under 20 minutes, you helped secure the cabin, and the helicopter began the wind-hindered battle to Myrtle Beach to join the first 3 survivors. En route, you tended to the thoroughly chilled crew member and provided them blankets and hearing protection. An hour later, these fishermen were reunited with a teary-eyed but thankful group of family, friends, and reporters. You are commended for your outstanding performance of duty. By your meritorious service, you have upheld the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard. You are hereby authorized to wear the Commandant's Letter of Commendation ribbon bar. Dude, what the? 20-foot wave and you got a letter of commendation? What?
That's in the mighty 60. That's in the mighty 60, dude. That's how that rolls.
Yeah, uh-huh. I was in Mighty 62, and I got something a little higher.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
It's not about the awards. It's not about the write-ups.
Right.
It's about doing our job and having a great time doing it.
That's right.
Okay,
you
gotta. All right, so give us a rundown. I know exactly how this goes off. The alarm goes off. It says 406 EPIRB, and you're like, oh God.
Yep, here we go again. Off going duty, like sheesh, here it is. And no, just flying out there, and then we start getting more info. And and they're like, hey, Savannah plane was out there. They couldn't get all of them. So you guys need to finish the rest. Like right now they're finishing up gather number 2. not sure if they're going to be able to get any more. You know, good luck. See you. Good luck. See you when out there. Here's our last known position. We're like, all right, no worries. And you know, we're flying out, and we see the 65 leaving. You know, like because we were headed kind of like this way, and they went that way, and we're like, all right, we're heading in the right direction. You know, and they gave them they talked to us on air to air, and they were like, hey man, there's 3 left. This is their last note. This is where we were hoisting from. Hopefully they're not too far away from there by the time you guys get there. We're like, all right. We got there, and sure as shit saw the mangled up boat and these dudes standing in the back, like just rolling. I'm like, all right, let's go. And that was it. They're like, they put me in, I swim over, and I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, holy shit, this is insane. Like I remember being after I put the first guy in the basket, and I start swimming back to the other guys, and just being on the crest of the wave, and like being able to look and exactly and like see my pilot right through the window, like he was standing there like you and I right now.
Oh
and
my
then
God.
and then the plane would disappear, and I'm like, oh man, like I'm like, all right, and I remember, so I always used to wear an extra watch on my Triton, or it was Tristar back then. But I would always keep that extra watch on there, and I would always set the timer, as I left the door, because they'd be like, all right, man, this is how much time you got, or you're staying behind. And I'm like, huh, I don't want to stay behind, so I'm making sure I'm keeping in that time slot, right? So I go in, and the next 2, I grabbed both of them and took both of them away from the boat, and then put one in the basket and just kind of hung out with the other one until they sent the other one down, sent the net basket down again, and hoisted that last one, because I didn't want to make that swim back to that boat again. And then we didn't have enough time to pick me up and move me over, and I obviously I didn't want to stay in that sea state as longer than I had to. So
yeah, 20 minutes on scene, and you guys are in, out, and done with 3 hoists.
yeah.
3 survivors. That's really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right, you're busting your butt to get back to the boat, and what was it? Just like I don't want to swim back to it again. So you asked those guys, hey, just jump both at the same time.
Yeah, I was like, I was like, hey, I don't want to do this again. And obviously, I'm pretty sure it was more like, hey, I want to make sure I don't lose you or have to leave one of you back here.
Yeah, make it sound pretty.
And yeah, and then they're like, all right. They're like, can you take both of us? I'm like, yep. I'm like, hold on to this guy. Hold on to this guy. They were kind of like tethered and do-si-do, arm to arm, and just grabbed them by the little flotation device, and collar towed them back to where I could, just get them away from the wreckage and stuff,
Dude, I don't ever remember in school carrying 2 victims at the same time.
Yeah, that wouldn't have fly.
I was just gonna throw that out there, bro.
That was never allowed. They would always jump on one of them would always jump on your face. So
yeah,
we were good. It was good. It was it was cold. It was cold out. I remember I remember being out in the Gulf Stream, and it was January, East City, so it was chilly out, and I'm shedding my gloves and my hood because the water out there was, it had that southerly flow to it. So the water was super warm out there, and I'm just sweating as bad, all get up, and just trying to get some cooler water on me, So the water's like, 70 degrees. I'm pulling off my big fat gloves because I'm prepared to I'm staying out here. Like, this is not gonna be good. But at that point, I was like, dude, I'm sweating so bad. I gotta be able to breathe. So that was it and that was pretty much it for that one. They got him in, and I remember getting back to the station, and the phone rings, and it was the guy from Charleston that picked him up, and obviously we were bantering back and forth because I did my urban program down there, and it was one of the guys that trained me, and I was like, what's up, man? You can't get all your own people. You got to call me in to, so that ended up being a lot of good banter and friendly fire across the bow,
Oh, love it. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Case number 1. Wow.
Yep. that
Dude,
was it.
well,
That's how it all started off.
all right. So I had something similar. I did not get in the water on my first case, but I remember that the big waves and stuff. And I remember like
Mhm.
being in the middle and be like, all right, this is what A school talks about. This is why we go through such a hard school. What was going
Right.
through your head in the middle of that?
I mean, same thing. Same thing. I'm like, dude, this is what it's all about, except it wasn't for that tiny little pool, and I'm like, this is for real, and I'm waiting for Butch Flight or somebody to jump on my face, to come out of nowhere and anything
Yeah.
like that. And so it wasn't that bad actually, like after you're doing it, I'm like, oh my God, these people cooperate,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
amazing what happens when
they
you're that
actually
far
listened.
offshore. Yeah, they're like, people actually listen. This is easy. What do you mean none of you want to choke me out? Come on.
Oh man. Freaking awesome. Badass to you and your
Yeah.
crew. Both. That's
Yeah, that
incredible.
was that was that was that was awesome. Yep.
Well, all right. Number one down. Let's go to the next one.
Yeah.
So that was in 2002. So in 2003, you earned a Commendation Medal. So this is how this write up went. PJ, I'm stoked on this. This is awesome. All right. Citation to accompany the award of the Coast Guard Commendation Medal. 2. I'm just going to call you PJ throughout it. All right.
Yeah, that's
Unless you want
fine.
me to say
That's
Philip.
no one knows my name. I told everybody I was Pedro.
Okay. That's awesome. All right. Citation to accompany the award of the Coast Guard Commendation Medal. 2. PJ Ornot, Aviation Survival Technician, 3rd Class, United States Coast Guard. Petty Officer Ornot is cited for outstanding achievement on 24 January 2003 while serving as rescue swimmer aboard the Coast Guard 860-6026 while engaged in a rescue of 17 crew members aboard a sinking merchant vessel, White Seal, 150 miles east of Cape Lookout, North Carolina. An intense winter storm containing sleet, blowing snow, and icing conditions was present from 50 miles offshore to well past the vessel's position. Pastor Ornot prepared the H-60 for the long flight by removing unnecessary equipment and preparing the cabin for the survivors. En route, operating without blade de-ice, the rescue helicopter penetrated the winter storm, encountering the full force of the violent storm. As Petty Officer Ornot completed all rescue checklists and prepared his equipment for the difficult hoist. Arriving on scene, the crew found that the 417-foot vessel pitching violently, listing almost 40 degrees to port, and with seawater pouring into the engine room, it was battered by 30 to 40-foot seas and wind gusts up to 60 knots. The captain of the marine vessel White Seal urgently radioed a request that the entire crew be evacuated due to his firmly held belief that the vessel would sink at any moment. After an attempt to recover the crew via direct basket hoist was aborted because of the severe weather, Petty Officer Ornot was lowered to the abruptly pitching deck of the wallowing marine vessel White Seal. Struggling to maintain his balance against the severe winds and seas, he unflinchingly tended to the rescue basket trail line. Petty Officer Ornot overcame the crew's panic and language barrier to effectively carry out the rescue of the entire ship's crew. En route to shore, he ensured the needs of the thoroughly chilled and emotionally drained survivors were addressed to complete the demanding rescue and save 17 lives. Petty Officer Ornot's dedication, judgment, and devotion to duty are most heartily commended in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard. Oh, brother. Okay. You get launched out to a sinking
Yeah.
vessel with 17 people on it, dude.
Yep.
What?
Yeah. Same thing, and it's they send it over the loud hailer, and it's just like, same thing, 406, Mayday, and I'm like, I want to say this was like a Saturday.
This is a 406 as well.
Yeah, it was like a Saturday. This was like Saturday morning. Like I just got back from the galley, getting my stuff ready to go. I can't remember if it was a Saturday, but I know it was like first thing in the morning, about to be just finishing up that tail end. And I walk over, and and they're like, "Cool." I'm like, "What?" They're like, "This freighter's going down. Um, we got to get rolling." They started getting another crew in, just for to get another crew out there. And I'm like, "All right, no." I'm like, "Well, let's get moving." Took the pump off and all this other kind of stuff. They sent a C-130 out earlier in the morning,
Okay.
and they for some reason they tried dropping pumps to a 400 some foot freighter to think that it would work, but that's fine. That's well, you know. So we get out there,
Our
and
little pumps, for those that don't know, are like what,
yeah,
2 horsepower, 1 horsepower, or something like. It's a
yeah,
lawnmower
there's
engine for like pull
right,
that. I don't
yeah,
I don't
yeah, but
remember what the intake and
it was a noble effort, and
yeah, yeah.
they did a great job. They did a great job. Um, but
They landed
yeah,
it. The C-130 landed it on the ship. I can guarantee you that. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Or they
like
almost landed it on the ship.
yes, almost. It was close. But yeah, we get out there, and we're seeing this ship just getting the snot beat out of them, right? And no one's out on deck, and they're all kind of like huddled in the area, just in the lower portion of the bridge. Um, they spoke little to no English. I think they were Ukrainian. I'm pretty sure that was written up in like the SOA. Um, and the pilot was like, "There's not a chance in hell I'm putting you down on this thing." Because we were walking out. I'm like, "Look, we can do this a lot faster, a lot easier if you just get me out the door, leave me there. That other helicopter's coming. You know, they're hopefully they're going to be right behind us, and we can, boom, boom, boom. Everything's already down there. Trail line. Let's get these guys out of here."
Yeah.
Because the captain was like, "We're done. We're going down." He was. I think he was listening too much. They couldn't get the lifeboat launched or something of that sort. So they were pretty panicked when they came out. So they tried, like it said, they tried to do one without me, and I was like, "Man, just put a couple weight bags on the bottom of that basket just to keep it, give it a little bit more weight so it doesn't go blowing behind you." And they put it, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, "Man, this is gonna take forever." And the co-pilot looks back at me, and he's like, he doesn't say it over ICS, but he's like, "You're gonna need to get ready."
Yeah.
I just give me a old thumbs up. I'm like, "I'm ready
Yeah.
to go." Like, I know how this is gonna work out.
Yeah. This is not
I know
going
how
to
this
work. You need me on deck.
work. Yep. I know this is not gonna work, but go ahead and try, and then tell me when you're ready. So they literally put the basket out, and it immediately sails back beyond the tail of the plane. The flight mech right away, he's like, "Yeah, this isn't gonna work." So they put me down onto the boat. I took the trail line down with me, just hooked up, and obviously just flopping around everywhere. The guys start sending people out, right? And it's like one guy comes out, and they're coming out with like these suitcases and backpacks and all this kind of crap. And I'm like, I'm like, "You guys can't bring that," and the guy's holding it on like this. So the first guy, I put him in, and I'm like, "All right," I'm like, "This guy, we can't be taking up all this luggage and stuff too." So send the first guy back up, and it's really quick, man. It's I'm holding on to the cable, or the trail line goes up, flight mech throws the dude out, and it's like right back down, like all the abbreviated checklists, like it's
Wow.
like we gotta go. And I'm down there, I'm going like, "Come on, come on, come on." And then next guy comes out, and he's holding his, he's got his bag like this, and I'm like, I'll bring it with me. He's like, "Oh, okay, okay." And I take it and chuck it over,
You're a
I chuck
dick.
it across the thing. I send him up. Next guy comes out, and I'm like, "Yep, yep, give me your bag." So it took like 3 or 4 guys to realize that, "Hey, just don't bring your bags out," because I was just chucking them overboard or anywhere I could just to get them out of the area. Um, but I lost count, and I'm like, "Man, what number are we on?" So I holler up to the plane. I'm like, you know, like on the radio, I'm like, hey, are we good? And he's like, keep sending them. I'm like, all right. I'm like, how many you got? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I lost count. And then we come out and they keep coming, they keep coming, they keep coming. And then, you know, I don't know how long I was down there, but the last guy comes out and he's holding a small briefcase, you know, and I'm like, oh man, one more guy to, you know, this guy didn't see the last dudes could be chucking their stuff overboard. And he's like holding on, like bear crawl, you know, bear hugging this thing. And I'm like, give me. And he's like, no, papers. You know, he's like, I'm the captain, papers. This is everybody. And I'm like, this is everybody. Like all 17, like no more people left. And he's like, yep, ship empty. And I'm like, all right, put him in the basket. I go up, you know, send him up, and I go up, and I come up to the cabin, and I'm like, what? And I mean, there's 17 people plus the flight mech crammed in the back of this 60, and I'm like, holy shit! So I get in, slide the door closed, and I'm all curled up in a ball against the window. Put my helmet on, and they're like, PJ, you got everybody? I'm like, the captain says I got everybody. You know, like he was the last one up, and they're all like thumbs up in, and you know they're doing their head count, and you know, and they're like, how many you got? And I'm like, I'm trying to count. My flight mech's trying to count. I'm like, all right. I'm like, I got 17. Flight mech's like, yep, I got 17. Co-pilot turns around and he's counting heads, and you know, he goes 17, and I'm like, all right. And he's like, all right, you know, PJ, what do they need medically? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. I can't move. Like I'm smashed against the door, you know, like there's people sitting on top of, like there's people laying on top of people, the people sitting on top of the troop seats. I got two dudes in my seat, you know, over where the CDU was. And you know, and I'm like, you guys got to do everything. Like I'm literally smushed up against the glass back here, and I'm like, and I like turn around and wave at the co-pilot. He's like, you good? I'm like, I mean, this is all we got. Like we're 100 plus miles offshore, bro. This is as good as he gets. You know, let's get the hell out of here. And yeah, when we landed, and I forget where it was. It was as somewhere in like very southern North Carolina, and like and and it looked like a clown car, that 60 getting out. Like we landed and shut down, and like the news was there. The C-130 crew was there because they were filming everything, you know, from above. And I get out and we shut down, and it's like, I'm counting again as we're coming out, like 1, 2, 3. I'm like, shit, man, 17. Like, yep. I'm like, that was all of them, unless they lied and said there were more, you know. But yeah, they were. I mean, it was nuts. It was nuts. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it.
Oh my gosh. What
Yeah.
the heck?
But
17
yeah, the old
yeah, go ahead. Keep going.
No, just the power, you know, that helicopter was just was nuts. Like the so a few years back before that, they had, I can't remember the name of the case, but it was like this cruise ship that sank
Yeah.
off of
Bob
off
Florisi and
yep. Darren Reeves.
Darren Reeves. Yeah,
yep.
Darren went out first. And he got Darren like 20 something. Yeah.
26. Yeah, Darren put 26 in there, and you know, and we landed, and the co-pilot was like, you know, God dang it, we couldn't beat it was Dan Molken's number. He was the pilot on that thing. He's like, we couldn't get any more. I'm like, yeah, but these dudes were gigantic Ukrainian guys. I mean, they were everything you think of like Eastern European, you know, just enormous. But yeah, it was awesome.
So for the record, Darren was putting 2 people in the basket. You couldn't have done that.
Not a chance. Not a chance. Not a chance. But yeah, man, it was great. You know, get back up, and everyone's happy. One guy's got his luggage. They all have their papers, and everybody else was, you know, I think they were here for like 2 weeks before they were able to get raised enough. They know the local community raised enough money to send them back, and after they cleared customs and all that kind of stuff, to send them back to their families. So
that's super cool.
Pretty,
nice.
Yeah. It was pretty neat.
Wow. That case also got you, like, actually you sent me this too, because that went a little bit further, and I'm going to read this little news clipping out of this, and because you got invited. I want to say to the White House. So you got invited up there.
It was to the Capitol building
All
for
right.
the State of the Union address. Yeah.
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 So U.S. News, local Coast Guard, those local Coast Guarder invited to Bush speech. On Friday morning, PJ Ornot Jr. of the Coast Guard was dangling precariously over a storm-roiled Atlantic Ocean, while a disabled cargo ship and her crew were sinking. So Tuesday night, Westmoreland County native was among those who got to hear President Bush's State of the Union address firsthand. Ornot, who was credited with helping rescue 17 crew members aboard the White Seal, represented the Coast Guard at the speech in the Capitol. That is freaking awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty great. Pretty great. I remember when I found out about that. I just got back from an LE flight. This was after, obviously after 9/11. So E-City was doing like the Capitol patrols, and they were like a 5-hour flight. And
Yep.
I came back and they're like, "Hey, Skipper needs you in his office," like over the radio, like as soon as we landed. I'm like, "Shit." I was like, I'm like, man, I fucked up. I did something,
I don't know what I did.
Yep. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go change. I'm like, let me go change. The old man calls you in. You got to go put your nice uniforms on. And they're like, nope, Captain Ansley wants you in there right now. And I'm like literally in my dry suit. And they're like, yep. And I walked in and he goes, got this letter for you. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, all right. And I read it. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, I'm like, are you serious? And he's like, can you go? I'm like, I mean, this really doesn't sound like a request. It sounds like a, hey, you're going, kind of thing. And I was like, can I take my wife? And he's like, sure. So he got he made the phone calls. My wife got to go, and she got to watch it on closed circuit TV, like in one of the little rooms in the Capitol building. But yeah, we got to go into the chamber, and we sat right behind our prospective commandant's wife. So like I was sitting behind commandant's wife, and then there's Navy guy next to me, Air Force guy, and it was really cool sharing stories with those guys. Because they're like, "Why are you here?" I'm like, I don't know. Like, I was told like
I just
2 days.
pulled 17 guys
I
off
didn't
a
say
ship.
anything. No, I didn't say anything. I'm like, I don't know. I was just told, like this and that, and then I'm looking at their chest, and I'm like, all right, well, you're a, the Navy dude, he was a SEAL, the freaking Air Force guy, Army guy, they're all these extreme operator guys, probably did way cooler stuff than I did, and but it was awesome. We actually sat around afterwards and just talked and exchanged stories and all that good kind of stuff. So that was pretty incredible.
Man,
Pretty
that's
incredible.
badass. Again,
Yeah.
mad props to you and your crew. Well done.
Yeah.
Dude,
Well,
I love it. I love it. All right.
right.
Well, I'm going to keep going if that's cool with you. I'm digging this.
Yeah, keep going. I got
right.
nowhere to go. I'm retired.
That's beautiful. So we're going to skip 9 years. All right. And I'm not saying that you didn't have anything in the 9 years. I'm just going to say right now, the next award that you received was 9 years later. Anything in between that might stand out?
So I did a tour as an A school instructor in between there. So I took a good
That's right.
yeah. So I went over there for 4 years. I got sent down to Katrina when Katrina hit. I had just transferred over to the A school. And so all my calls and everything were still good, and then obviously Katrina hits and they're like, they wanted people and, and they're like, all right, me and Timmy Kessel, our stuff was still good because we had just got there. And they're like, you guys head down that way and, go do your thing and we'll see you when we see you, But yes, I did
awesome.
Did a 4-year tour over there. So not much flying over there. I kept my calls for a little bit to take the students out on flights and then after that I was like, I'll just take a little break before I get back at it.
I like it a lot. All right, so real quick then, what's the most memorable part of Katrina for you?
man, I just honestly just the flying over and just seeing looking out over the horizon down there and just seeing all the helicopters doing work, like you're looking out and then, I was they put me in a 65 when I got down there, and you look, quarter mile to your left and there's two 60s over there hoisting, and then you look out the cargo door, and then you're like, geez, there's two more over there, just everyone doing work, and you got Black Hawks flying over, and and the Chinooks, trying to fix the levees, and all that kind of stuff. That was like the biggest thing that I took away from that, and seeing how one catastrophe like that happens, and everyone is just full throttle, let's go Wild West, and just getting stuff done. They that was the first one like to happen like that for and nowadays you see this, not want to say all the time, but like you see it pretty recently a lot now, with just Ian that just hit down here, and like it's more controlled chaos now, like people go in with a plan, and I feel like back then when Katrina hit, there was no plan for this. It was holy shit, this happened, and we just need people. I remember seeing people down there. We're all sleeping on the hangar decks and stuff, and I mean, you got guys from Hawaii there, guys from Will Mylan's there from Alaska, and and we're all just like, there's just planes and planes and planes just lined up, and everything's being run with a whiteboard, and they're like, all right,
Yeah.
what time did you land? Go grab an MRE, sit down for a little bit, and because you got to get back on the, you're on 4 planes from now, like, and you were just being chucked back into the rotation. Just how amazing it was seeing like everybody come together, and a couple guys, just everybody doing their part, whether it was unloading water. I remember seeing swimmers down there, that were down there to help, like just kind of run things, and they were figuring out ways to get decent food to us on the hangar deck.
Oh wow, nice.
And
yeah.
And one guy in there cleaning the bathrooms in New Orleans, just so that we had a place to go, another place to go in and use the head. I remember seeing when we had the Falcons, Master Chief Dyer gets off a Falcon, and he's just loaded up with pizza and wings from Mobile, like just stacks of pizza, and we're, because we've been eating MREs and just anything that we can find to keep us going, and I got there a couple of days after the first surge, and he gets off the plane, and he's just got like boxes and boxes of pizza, and he's just handing them out, and we had pizza for days down there, 20, 30 swimmers sitting in a hangar deck just slamming pizza, but yeah, it was great. It was just really cool seeing how it was like drop of the hat, and everyone's like, yep, we gotta make this happen, let's do it.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Wow, mad props to Master Chief Dyer too. That's keeping some morale high in that.
I don't know how he pulled it off, to be honest with you, but it was.
What? It's Master Chief Dyer. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. All right, man. Well, let me jump to this one. So in 2012, you were on a pretty gnarly rescue right here, which earned you an Air Medal. And yeah, we're gonna get into this right now. Love it.
Let's do it.
Citation to accompany the award of the Air Medal to PJ Ornot, Aviation Survival Technician, First Class, United States Coast Guard. Pastor Ornot is cited for meritorious achievement in aerial flight on 23 February 2012 while serving as rescue swimmer aboard the Coast Guard helicopter 6582. As part of the duty air crew, Pedasta Ornot was responding to a report of an illegal immigrant activity in the vicinity of Monito Island, 50 miles southwest of Puerto Rico. Once on scene, the crew observed that the migrants had been abandoned inside the sea cave at the base of a sheer 100-foot cliff with no possible escape route. He fearlessly volunteered to deploy into the 8-foot swells, which were relentlessly pounding the helpless migrants against the jagged rocks. Once safely deployed into the water, he boarded the Coast Guard cutter Cushing's small boat to deliver him closer to the victims. Despite their best efforts, the building seas crashing against the base of the cliff prevented the small boat from getting any closer than 75 yards to the cave entrance. Demonstrating extraordinary skill and knowledge of wave hydraulics, he expertly timed the swells and swam into the cave where the frothy seas and the pounding waves were repeatedly submerging the victims as they desperately clung to the rocks. He swiftly evaluated and identified the most severely injured victim, who had sustained a broken arm and was losing consciousness from the loss of blood caused by a deep laceration on his head. Taking the man in tow, Payaso Ornot again navigated through the swift currents to the small boat, where he transferred the victim to the boat crew. Staving off exhaustion, he skillfully avoided the razor-like rocks as he repeated this process 3 more times to recover the remaining victims. Once back on the small boat with the last survivor, Payaso Ornot quickly determined that the first survivor needed immediate medical care that could only be provided via air transport. Entering the perilous seas yet again, he and the survivor were hoisted into the helicopter, where he continued to provide critical first aid while en route to the medical assistance. Payaso Ornot's actions and skill were instrumental in the rescue of 4 lives. His courage, judgment, and devotion to duty are most heartily commended in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard. Dude, I love this stuff, man.
Yeah.
All right. You got 4 migrants stuck on a cliff going into like into the cave. What? All right.
Dude,
What happened?
so this thing was a mess from the beginning, right? So Customs and Border Patrol actually they call them YOLAs in Puerto Rico. So they're migrant smuggling vessels that come over from Dominican Republic, Cuba, trying to bring migrants into the United States via Puerto Rico, because they're U.S. territory. And so there were, from what I don't remember exactly how many, but I want to say there was like 20 people on one of these. It's your typical overloaded, plywood structured boat that's made for one-time use only, right? And we couldn't believe that people tried to come across the pass. They called the Mona Pass that day, just because the winds were rough, the seas were big, and normally they would just do it on days where it's calm. And I want to say it was like 80 miles. It might be a little bit more over to the Dominican Republic from those islands. And those islands are considered part of Puerto Rico. I want to say it was about 80 miles. It might be a little bit, might be 80 miles to Puerto Rico. I'm not sure exactly, but so I remember, Customs and Border Patrol, they spotted them on their one of their planes and stuff. They come down low, and the smugglers, they take these 4 guys and they just chuck them overboard, as a diversion to try to get the other people over to the other islands. So there's 2 little islands there. Monito is like it looks like a water bottle sticking out of the middle of the ocean, and then Mona, which is like Monito's big brother, and it's in that same vicinity, and it's more beachy, but they're both no one lives on there. I think it's like there's a park station, a park ranger or somebody that lives on Mona. But anyway, I digress. So anyway, they got on. They shed these 4 guys out, right, and they just get sucked into this cave. And I just got back the week before from AHARS. Like, legit can't make this.
Brilliant.
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up, dude. And I remember going out there, and I'm like, dudes, I don't know. Like, I just got out of this cave out there, and it was not fun. Like, was not my most enjoyable time. We did it in flat, in flat calm Astoria, as flat
Yeah.
as calm as Astoria can be,
We'll
right?
call it
And
controlled waves.
controlled waves, yes. And I'm like, this is a mess, and they're like, all right, well, let's just go do a low pass and see what it's like. And we're talking to the cutters, and the cutters like, hey, we're putting our small boat in. These 4 guys just got swept into this cave. We can see them. So they put their little RHI, just a small little rigid hull inflatable,
Yeah.
and they're like, well, we have our cutter swimmer. And I'm like, oh God. I'm like, hold, stand. I'm like, just give us a minute, like we're crying out loud. No disrespect to all the cutter swimmers out there, but I'm
Yeah,
like, come
no
on.
disrespect. I get
So
it.
we do
I
it.
get it. All right.
Yep,
So for the
but we do it.
record, the boat swimmers do not go through the rigorous training that we go through as helicopter rescue swimmers. There is a big difference between the two. So I'll leave it at that because yep. Yes, they are tethered to the boat. And so if something goes wrong with them, they have a way to pull them back. Whereas
to get them back. Yep.
Us, we are
not tethered.
Let them go.
I don't want anything tangled up, right?
Yeah.
So so we do it. We do a low pass, and sure as shit, we're like, yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we see them all in there, and I'm like, all right, let's try this, let's see what we can do, and we tried. Pretty junior pilot, but they did a great job. They pull into a hover, and we're just constantly,
up and down. Yeah.
From the
downdrafts coming over the rock.
Off the island, off the cliff and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, look, man, I can't hold a hover. I can't hold a hover here. And and then the boat, they're getting closer, and it's just, your cutter swimmers usually your 18-year-old, 19-year-old who just checked the board, right? And I'm
He's
like,
the
all
guy
right,
that
what
doesn't
about
drown on the boat?
Yeah, you're the guy that doesn't drown the most, right? And I'm like, dude, what about just putting me in the water and let's try to get that, if that boat can get me close enough, we'll do it, we'll do it that way. So we talked to them, and they're like, yep, 100%. So I deploy into the water, swim over to the boat, and I remember looking at the guy, and I'm like, we got this, dude. I'm like, just, they're like, you want to take him with you? I'm like, no. I'm like, nope, yeah. I don't want to take him with me. Please do not hook that line up to my back. Like I don't want to have, I don't want that crap going on. So they get me as close as they can, because like once the, I think this is, what is it, 75 meters, whatever, something like that. They got me in close enough, and then, but that's when the waves started breaking, and they couldn't get me in any closer, just due to the waves and the sea state up close to the mouth of the cave. So they got me as close as I could, and I was like, all right, I'll see you guys in a bit. I'm like, I'm gonna come beat feet out of there, and same thing, get as close as you can on the way out. So I went in, and wave hydraulics work exactly as advertised at AHRS. I'm sitting outside the mouth of the cave, and I'm waiting, and I'm watching these guys, like this looks like it's a freaking cave, dude, and you can see them in the back of this thing, and the wave comes in, and it fills up, and these guys are up against the ceiling of the cave, and just getting the snot beat out of them, and then the water drops down, and then they're in there treading, and they can't get out. So I'm like, all right, here goes nothing. Pull my chin strap a little tighter, and ride a wave in, and I just so happened. I mean, it says I expertly triage whatever. I went in and grabbed the first dude I saw, and got him out of there. And he happened to have a flailing arm, because his arm was shattered. And just went in, just grabbed him, and like straight up full on cross chest control carry, so he doesn't get sucked out from underneath me. And I got spat out the cave, and I was like, whoa, it's like it worked. like super, super excited. I'm like, man, this totally worked. Swam him out, um, got him onto the boat, and they're like, "You good?" The guys were like, "You good?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." I'm like, "Can you get me? Is this as close as you got?" And the coxswain's like, "Yeah, man, I can't get any more." I'm like, "All right, take this, dude. Just kind of linger out back here. Give me a couple more minutes, and you know, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat." Just literally just went in and grabbed. Like once I got the first guy out, the guys were like, they knew what was happening, and they were okay leaving the mouth of the cave, leaving the cave, and just grabbed them and kicked my ass off and got out of there and put them back in the boat, and you know climbed back into pull myself back up into the RHI, put my hands on my knees for a second, and and the 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 swimmer on the boat was just rendering some first aid to the guy that with the busted up arm, and uncontrollable head bleed and stuff like that. And I'm like, all right, man, we got to let's get this guy out of here. So I hollered up to the plane, and I'm like, all right, man, we gotta bring one with us, because they were taking the rest of them back over to the other 16 that they recovered from the other island. And I'm like, we got to bring one back with us. He's, his arm shattered, bleeding pretty bad, in and out of consciousness. So we gotta make this happen. And we got enough fuel. And they're like, yep, we got enough fuel. So lowered the basket, threw the guy, go back into the water, threw the guy into the basket, hoisted him up, took him home, and then the boys from the shop were all waiting there. The skipper was waiting, and we come out, and they're trying to talk, and I'm like, we got to get this. We took the guy into the swimmer shop, and cleaned him up, splinted him, took him down to the clinic, and did all the stuff that we're supposed to do, and then I was supposed to. I remember, like, it's so nuts. You asked my wife this story, but so I was supposed to pick my kid up that day. I was off going on duty. I was supposed to pick my kid up from school, and the school calls, and they're like, "Hey, PJ's not here," and obviously, wife's like, "Oh shit," like, what happened, like, where is he at? He's like, he's out in St. Croix or St. Thomas again, like, because we get stuck over there, a lot.
Right.
We'd break down. Yeah.
In quotations,
Yep.
I'm stuck
Yep.
out there.
Yep. I'm stuck in St. Croix again, honey, and she comes home, and like the whole base had known about this already. What's been going on, and she comes through the guard shack, and the guards are like, "Hey, PJ, all right?" So, and that's like the wrong thing to say, to a wife that doesn't know anything what's going on, right?
Oh
She's like,
my
"What are you
gosh.
talking
They
about?"
actually said to
Yeah,
her, like, he's all
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
oh.
And she's just like, "What the hell?" And
Dude, my wife would
she came.
freaking crush
Yeah,
me. She
yeah,
would whoop my ass for
yeah,
them saying
yep,
it too.
yep,
Oh.
yeah. She came home. So she came home, and I had just gotten home, and I was sitting on our our little front lanai there, and dude, just had the shakes, like, adrenaline just rolling through me like there's no tomorrow, and like she's like, "What?" She puts the kid inside, and she's like, "What the hell just happened?" I'm like, got the shakes, and I'm back and forth. I'm like, I'm gonna need a glass of rum here in a minute, and we're gonna we're gonna we're gonna talk story real quick, lady. Um, but yeah, dude, she came home, and I was a wreck sitting on that front porch, like, just my heart was going like 90 miles an hour, man. But yeah, that was it. That thing was that was nuts, dude. That was definitely the some of the craziest shit I've ever seen, been a part of, and you know, and once again, just it goes to show you, like, we come back, and like everybody's there waiting. Like, we land a plane, and all the boys from the shop are waiting at the plane because they knew I was bringing back a survivor. So they come rushing out with the cart. EMT kit. You know, everyone's just ready to rock, you know, and it's so good seeing, you know, seeing that stuff. You know, watch
Oh
captain
yeah.
comes out. You know, the watch captain was one of my best buddies. My flight mechanic was another one of my great buddies. They both came down for my retirement, and you know, it was just so cool seeing like how everyone just, you know, something extravagant like that happens, and how the little small community down there, and you know, pretty much everywhere we go, they're just like, yep, what's next, you know, like we're gonna take care of this guy, you know, PJ, we got your knee, you know, we got your gear for you, we're gonna turn around your plane. And you know, we're you know, Mo and I, because you know, the guy didn't speak hardly any English at all, so Mo, I was down there with Mo, and you know Mo, right? What he
Uh,
says,
no,
Rivera.
I don't.
No,
No.
no, Mo. So he was like the class. Mo was a class ahead of me, but Mo was another great dude to talk to. But
Yeah.
Mo comes out. He's from the island, and you know, he's talking to the guy, and we're just, you know, and we're rolling through our quick little triage and banding this dude up, you know, and it was just awesome. Once again, seeing how, you know, how all that stuff comes together. You know, give him a shirt, give him some dry clothes to put on, and you know, take him down to clinic, get him looked at. Doc's down there checking him out. But oh, no,
Holy
just
shit,
amazing,
dude.
amazing shit. Yeah. Yep.
Damn, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yep.
The whole cave idea. You know, I got to give you mad props for like going in and then like battling all that in and out, in and out.
Yeah.
Cause yeah,
That
like
wasn't the plan.
no.
Yeah. I mean,
What was the original
that
plan?
wasn't that that wasn't my plan. I was like, dude, I just went through AHARS, bro. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm not interested in this, you know, like, and this is like for real stuff, not a controlled environment, you know,
Yeah,
not with 8 other, you know, not that I was doubting my abilities, but you know, it was that, you know, it's just thinking about it. I'm like, this is, you know, we talked about the first case, you know, we're like, hey, this is you know, this is what you train for. And you know, this was legit. This was
yeah,
legit it. And like, this is what you're doing. This is why you're here. And you know, didn't doubt my abilities, but I was like, whoa, this is gonna take this is gonna take a toll. You know, this one's gonna hurt.
yeah,
And you know, and you know, we you know, found a way to make it happen. You know, that boat crew being able to get me in close enough. Um, you know, and I mean, those guys were, you know, the cojones on those guys too, to get that boat like right on the edge of the shelf, you know, right where the waves were starting to break, and just sit there and wait and wait and wait, and knowing like, all right, man, here's my plan B if, you know, if our guy doesn't come out, you know. So
yeah.
it was just really cool to, you know, just seeing all that stuff, like once again how everything just comes together. And you know, no
Wow.
pre-communication, no nothing, like we all, things just happen, you know. So
Dude, what the hell? So
yeah,
there's a couple things I want to add into this because you
yeah,
know,
please.
you're talking like the boat got you about 75 yards, give or take. So I'm gonna call it round numbers. I'm gonna say 100 yards. This is what you had to swim in, right?
Swimmer
Then you
math.
gotta what's that?
Swimmer math.
Yeah, yeah, swimmer math. I like swimmer math. I like to
Yeah.
make it easy. All
Yep.
right, 100. We can go
I'm in.
75 if you
Yep.
want. You know what? Let's go 75 just for you.
No,
No, let's go easy.
I'm not really good at math either. So let's
All
go.
right, you know what? I'm gonna do. No, I'm gonna do 75 just for you. That's what I'm gonna do because that's what it said.
not
That's
a
what it said.
I'm
I'm
not a
doing it.
math guy. All right, go ahead.
So you got to swim 75 meters in or 75 yards in and 75 yards out. There's 150 yards, right? But what it's not equating is it said about 8 foot swells, right? So you got breakers going in there.
Yeah.
So you're swimming in with the current. Great, cool. You get there, you got to tread water a little bit and figure out, watch timing of the wave. But then you got to pull a survivor 75 yards out through the breakers to get to the small boat.
Mm.
Dude, that is legit. Wow.
That was a wow. That was a good one, man.
And you had to do
But
it 4 times.
yeah, that's the whole reason behind the 800 yard buddy toe in school, right?
Of course
That's
it
why
is. Yeah,
that's it's
yeah.
because no more than 800. That's it. Like we can't
Yeah, that's
swim any
right. And
more
then
than
you
800
count.
meters.
And then I'm
Yeah.
done.
Yep. I'm done. Right time. Would I have a time limit on this? We're good.
Yeah. Where's my
But
other
yeah,
watch? I got
yeah, my other watch. Yep. Yeah.
Ready
Well,
and go. This is for
go.
time. Go.
Yep.
What the
But
hell, man? That is
yeah,
crazy.
man.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So now, I want to like recap. I'm gonna
Mhm.
we're gonna Monday morning quarterback this a little bit, because
Yeah.
one of the things you
100%.
said is like you didn't want to have that line attached to you, and I get it, and I understand exactly what you're saying. But at the same time, right now, I'm thinking like as a backup to get out, if I had that line even over my shoulder, so if I got into trouble, I could connect and like, Mayday, wave.
Yeah.
What's the secret signal? Oh, it's this one.
Right.
Wave
Right.
my
Yeah.
arms.
Yep.
Did that ever cross your mind, or was
So
that like?
I mean, it did. It's so I thought about it, and and now I'm sitting here Monday morning quarterback with you, but it's like, all right, let's go with the what if. So yeah, I'm holding on to this line. Now I'm only using one arm, right? And
Yep.
then what do I do? Do I let go once I get the guy? Once I get the survivor and I pull and tow, or what if, what if I got this thing now and I take a wave over the head and now it's tangled up in my arm and it feels like a pull, and they consider that a, hey man, we need to get him out. He's in trouble. They
Right.
start because they can't see the mouth of the cave because of the up and down, and they start cranking me in like a big tuna, and I'm right there about to grab the guy, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and then he jumps in, or he falls, pulls away from his safe spot, and now I'm being drug out, and then it looks like I left him, and now I'm being drugged back through the current. So
Right.
I mean, I didn't want to get tangled up in it. That's the last
No,
thing I want to do is inside a cave, bring out my knife and try to untangle a fishing line, tied around my legs. And so I mean, I feel like it probably did go through my head, but I'm like, I was like, all right, let's just let's just go with what we know, rather than improvising with that, with somebody that you've never worked with before. They don't,
Right.
when we don't have that standard communications, back and forth, no matter how much I say, hey, if I give you a thumbs up, that means yank, or two tugs on the rope means, pull
Yeah.
me in, and, and who knows what's going to happen. I may be like 1, 2, 3. Well, shit, what does that mean? What does 3 tugs mean? Or
Right.
I give
Totally.
him like I throw out an emergency and be like, hey man, get me out of here. But he's like, nope, he said a thumbs up. That means, it's like, so it was like just too many variables, so
Yeah.
we rolled with, rolled with what I knew, and, communicated the best I could with the small boat in the, in the plane. And, they sat there, they watched everything go down, and,
As they hit
cheered
the
me on,
auto
I
hover,
guess.
eating popcorn, they're like, "Wow, this is amazing!"
They were working, man. They were working that out there.
I love my air crews
all
out
good.
there. Come on.
I know. But yeah,
Awesome.
that was a crazy day, man.
Yeah. Well,
Crazy
and
day.
listen, I appreciate you doing a little Monday morning quarterback. I like to
Yeah,
take
no,
the scenarios,
do it.
especially like my own, and say, well, how could I have done that better? And
Yeah.
with what you just said, is especially like, possibly getting tangled up, and you're making signals up as you go. You never know. And I
Right.
get it. I think you made a good decision and went with it. Well done, sir. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. What was your time, by the way? No, I'm just playing.
I don't know. I
playing.
don't remember. Like, I forgot to stop my watch.
Oh, okay.
I forgot to stop my watch.
There's a time cap, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, then what happens? You guys, we blow the whistle. I drop my barbell, we're done, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Lay on the floor, my puddle of sweat. We're good.
Oh my gosh, hilarious. All right, man. Well, I'm going to roll on a little further.
Yeah, go ahead.
So 2015, you got another letter of commendation, and this was for another rescue that you did. Here we go. I note with pride and am pleased to commend you on your performance of duty while assigned as rescue swimmer aboard 865D 6538 during a search and rescue case on 10 February 2015. During the early morning hours, you received tasking for immediate medical evacuation of 2 crew members aboard the motor vessel Sapphire, who had been knocked unconscious from a wire parting during a mooring evolution, located at mile marker 71 on the Mississippi River near Air Station New Orleans. Both had suffered severe facial lacerations with skull fractures, and one was presumed deceased. Once on scene, you tended to the life-threatening lacerations to the head of both patients. After stabilizing severe blood loss, you transferred them to litters to be placed in the cabin of the helicopter. Along with the flight mechanic, you transported the heavy patients several hundred feet, then up a small ladder before reaching the aircraft. Because of the tight cabin space, you straddled the patient and kept him conscious while en route to the hospital. You worked together with the flight mechanic and pilot to swiftly move both patients to gurneys atop Louisiana State University Hospital. Your knowledge and execution while tending both patients resulted in 2 lives saved. You are commended for your outstanding performance of duty. By your meritorious service, you have upheld the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard. You are hereby authorized to wear the Commandant's Letter of Commendation, Ribbon Bar, Silver Star in lieu of 5th. Dude, what? So one dude was supposed to be dead and you brought him back to life. What?
Yeah,
Go.
so
You're up, dude.
Yeah, go. 3, 2, 1, go. I remember, we get woke up, man. We go meet in the ops center, and just talking to the pilots, and they're like, it sounds like both of them need litters, and I'm like 2 litters in the back of a 65. I'm like, all right, we're gonna need to move some stuff. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, that raft gone, swimmer seat gone, like I'm like, basket gone. Like, I'm like, what's our plans? Like, we plan on landing on the ship? And he's like, yeah. He's like, we can land on the ship. And I'm like, all right. I mean, it was right in the river. I mean, it was maybe like a 15-minute flight down there, maybe 20-minute flight down there. And he's like,
what kind of ship was it on?
It was a freighter.
Oh, okay.
Like I don't know what they were bringing up the river, probably like oil, whatever, or something like that. But yeah, so I'm like, we're gonna take the raft off, we're gonna take the swimmer seat out, and they were like, wait. They're like, pretty sure we're not allowed to take the raft out. I was like, sir, we can do anything you want. I'm like, just call and let the skipper know. Like, tell him this is what's going on. Like, if we crash in the river, we're not gonna get into the raft. Like, it's not a
no, you're gonna swim to shore.
Yeah, we're gonna wait to the next bend and hopefully, just be washed up ashore, and he's like, all right, let me, he makes his phone call, and ops and skipper approve, and so the flight mech and I are out. We're getting rid of the basket, getting rid of the swimmer seat, getting rid of the raft that sits right in front of us, and moving his seat all the way over to the co-pilot side, and we get out there and we land on the ship, and I hop out, and I'm like, all right, grab the EMT kit, and I'm like, dude, I'm taking the mechanic with me, and he was a super junior guy, which was awesome, like, just watching his face,
fun.
and he's like, yeah, take him. I'm like, you guys good? And he's like, yeah, we're good. plenty of time, so we climb down. We're on this big platform. We climb down the ladder, go over to where these guys are, and they are jacked. Like the cable just came right across, from here and hit
So
both of them. Like their
from the shoulder through the face.
shoulder, across the neck, across the face, like gashed across. Like,
Oh,
not to be super gross or whatever, but like
they
they're
were
on. I
wide
mean,
open.
yeah, they were open. And
Could you call them like predator?
I mean, you could. Yeah, you could. You could.
Ah,
Yeah, we're
ah.
so just a quick, like I said, like I don't like to stay and play. I'm a load and go kind of guy, right?
Right,
So
right.
just quick seat collar, you know, grab both litters, put them in the litters, um, and just me and the flight mech take one guy, and then a couple of the crew members, they're carrying the other guy back over up the ladder wells, get him into the plane. Yeah, one guy's in, out, like one guy was like fully aware of what was going on, screaming pain, but the other one was, you can tell he definitely got the brunt of it, as far as I don't know if he was the first one to get hit with the parting cable, but I mean it was a like not big around, but just
2-inch
yeah,
cable.
yeah, just parted and right across, man, just gnarly looking.
Wow.
But yeah, just and then plug and play on the way back, just keeping this guy, trying to keep him awake, and you know, talking to him for the short flight back to New Orleans for the hospital. But that place is crazy. That he's stationed in New Orleans. As much as I didn't want to go there, like the amount of, you never get a good night's sleep there. Like there's always something going on at that crazy place.
Dang, man.
But
Wow. Well, all right. So
yeah,
you
so that was
actually earned, were you there all of 2016 as well? 16 and 17?
yeah, I got there in 2014. I did 3 years there. So I did 14, 15, and 16 there, and then 17 I transferred to Clearwater.
Okay. So then 2016 and then another 2016. So you got 2 more awards while you were in.
Yeah, I New Orleans was really good about awards, and yeah, I mean I got another one there, a big one in New Orleans, and then
We're gonna go over that here in a second.
yeah, I don't know if I sent you the one with the where we didn't take a mechanic and we landed on the cruise ship, just me and the pilot. I don't know if I sent you that one.
Possibly. Here, hold on.
Yeah.
For a 15-year-old.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that one next.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Gotcha.
Let's do this, man.
All right.
Citation to accompany the award of the Achievement Medal, Gold Star in lieu of third, to PJ Ornot, Chief Aviation Survival Technician, United States Coast Guard. Chief Ornot is cited for superior performance of duty while serving as rescue swimmer aboard helicopter 6502 on 02 July 2016 during a medical evacuation of a 15-year-old female from a cruise ship, Liberty of the Seas. Because the mission was long range, the aircraft commander utilized minimum crew, leaving the flight mechanic behind, requiring Chief Ornot to perform multiple duties throughout the flight. Once on sea, Chief Ornot provided conning commands to expertly place the helicopter over the bow landing pad of the cruise ship. After landing, Chief Ornot quickly assessed the condition of the patient and determined that she needed immediate shore-based health care in order to survive. As Chief Ornot was loading the patient onto the helicopter, the patient stopped breathing. The nurse and Chief Ornot determined that the ventilation machine stopped functioning and elected to provide oxygen manually. After loading the patient, Chief Ornot communicated to her critical condition to the pilots and continued monitoring the patient throughout the lengthy transport, resulting in 1 life saved. Chief Ornot's diligence perseverance, and devotion to duty are most heartily commended in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard. Oh my God, man. So you had minimal crews. That means just you and the pilot?
We had another pilot with us. Yeah.
Okay, so two pilots,
yeah,
you.
we took two pilots and me, and we, once again, thorough crew brief before we leave. And, and he's like, you think you can land it? Cause we had to refuel on an oil rig on the way out there.
Okay.
And he's like, you think you can, he's like, you think you can get us on an oil rig and, and refuel and then land me on a bow of a boat? And I'm like, all right. I mean, I'm like, we kind of got to, and so we made the decision. He called the skipper. She wanted to know. I don't think it mattered, but she's just like, hey, I just want to know who the swimmer is. I kind of feel like she may have said no if it was like the brand new guy we just qualified, but she's like, yeah, go ahead and do it, and yeah, dude, went out there, landed on the oil rig, refueled, beautiful sunny day on the, out there in the middle of the Gulf. Those guys are always super accommodating. They bring you, they come up, they give you gas, they give you lunch, anything you need, and they're like, how many lunches you want, and and they're like, I mean, you never turn down an oil rig meal. They're always really good,
Especially on steak
so,
night. I'm just saying.
yeah,
Surf and turf.
Yeah, there's a reason those guys are that big, right? But yeah, they eat good. But yeah, we get out over the boat. He's like, all right, man, we're gonna land this thing on the bow of the boat. And I'm like, I've never landed on the bow of the boat, on a plane before. And I'm like, all right, let's make it work. And landed, and he's like, all right, we don't got much time, because we had planned on, we didn't want to shut down on an oil rig again on the way back home with a patient in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, this needs to be real quick. And I'm like, yep, no worries, got it. So we go in, I get a quick pass down from the dock on the boat. And she's hooked up to a ventilator, she's unconscious. I think it was a diabetic coma. She was a known diabetic, not breathing on her own. I'm like, can I take the nurse, just because I was super uncomfortable with the ventilator. So I was like, yep, take the nurse, bring him out, load him in the plane, and the pilot's like, all right, man, we gotta get rolling. I'm like, all right, just getting the nurse situated right now. And, I get her all strapped in, throw my gunner's belt on, keeping the door open. And I'm like, all right, let's get rolling. And he starts pulling power, and dude, he starts pulling power, over torques, and he hears me say, oh shit, right? And I'm like, he's like, what are you oh shitting about? And I'm like, dude, ventilator just stopped working. So he's like, PJ, what am I doing? I'm like, go, just go. I'm like, we're not doing any good if we stop here and just land back on this plane, because now or land on a boat, because now she's in no better shape than she was earlier. Like,
right.
I knew we could over torque, we hold forward flight, we're good. We can get back to, just get us off this boat. We're gonna bag her, and if we have to bag her all the way back, we're bagging her all the way back. But so I jump over to the head. He clears the boat, does his troubleshooting, resets his master caution, all that good kind of stuff. He was a solid pilot, man. Like, he probably cleared the front of that boat by inches with the landing gear, like getting away from it to try to get some forward airspeed. But he was awesome. I jump back, I start bagging, nurse starts troubleshooting, and she, a couple minutes later, I don't know, I would just be making shit up if I told you exactly how long it was, but she was able to get the thing working again and plugged her back in, and was able to, just from that point, just monitored the rest of the way in. But that was just, just that making, you had to make that split second call. It's like, he heard me say, oh shit, over ICS. And he's like, oh shit, what's that mean? Like, What am I doing? I'm like, go, go, go. You know, we got this.
You need to
I'm like, I'll tell
clarify
you.
that shit right now.
Yeah, yep. I'm like, go, go, go. We're good. I'll tell you about it later. You know, and so we get moving. He's like, well, you know, what was the oh shit about? And I'm like, her ventilator stopped working. And he's like, oh shit. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, she's okay. I'm like, we're breathing for her. It's just there's not a machine breathing for her right now. You know, so yeah, we cruised all the way back. Back, you know, got back over land. Went to I would imagine it'd be LSU hospital again. Landed on the roof, and you know, shut down there because we were smoked. They had to get somebody out to come do an inspection for the over torque. But yeah, so we shut down on the roof of the hospital and
close it down for every helicopter there on out.
Yeah, and
way to go, Coast Guard.
Yeah, and took a car ride home.
Oh,
yeah, and took a car ride home. But,
oh man.
Yeah, they went out, did the inspection. Everything was good. Everything was safe. You know, it was just that over torque. It was, I don't remember exact percentages whatever they pulled, but it was just a little bitty over torque, just a little bitty one, little bitty one. But
just a little write up in the book. That's all it is.
Yeah, write it up in the books. Some extra work for somebody. But yeah, man, the pilot that day, he was on his A game that day, man. Like how fast he got forward airspeed off of that deck, you know, like it was impressive. It was really, really impressive in that plane.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was her, and she was, you know, we delivered her to hospital. She was, you know, back on the ventilator, and you know, good to go from there.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Yeah.
Dang. Good idea to take minimal crew that far out, and then getting the nurse to come back with you. That's awesome too. Right. I like that.
That means because I would have had to stay on the cruise ship if not, because there would have definitely not have been enough. You know, wouldn't have been. It was either me or the nurse not going, and then, you know, looking in your crystal ball, like we made the right call because she was able to troubleshoot while I was able to breathe for the patient. And you know, if most of the mechanics weren't CPR, EMT certified or anything like that, so it would have could have been a mess. You know, could have been a mess.
You know how excited a mechanic would have been had you gone out and the mechanic had to stay on the cruise ship? I mean, I know that happens to swimmers from time to time, but could you imagine how awesome?
Yeah. I imagine he'd have been like, I'm good.
I'm good. I'll stay. You can keep me here. I'm good.
Yep. Keep me here. I'm good. See you later. Where are we going to? Where are we going?
St. Thomas. I'll call you when I get there.
Yeah, I'll call you when I get there. I'm good, honey. Yeah, man. Awesome, man.
Well done. Yeah, that's freaking amazing. Jeez. All right, I'm gonna keep it going. Ready?
Yeah.
Ooh. 2016 is this is kind of a big one out for you out of New Orleans as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, citation to accompany the award of the Air Medal, Gold Star in lieu of second, to P.J. Ornot, Chief Aviation Survival Technician, United States Coast Guard. Chief Ornot is cited for meritorious achievement in aerial flight while serving as rescue swimmer aboard rescue helicopter 6538 on 13 August 2016. In response to historic flooding in Baton Rouge, Louisiana area, the rescue helicopter departed Air Station New Orleans to rescue a family trapped in their home. En route to scene, weather conditions deteriorated with heavy rain, half-mile visibility, and 200-foot ceilings, requiring Chief Ornot to prepare for various rescue scenarios. After arriving on scene, the rescue helicopter located a family of 3 trapped in their home. Chief Ornot deployed through the high trees, power lines, and debris to successfully rescue the family from their roof of their home. On a subsequent sortie, Chief Ornot deployed to 18 persons stranded on a farm. He determined that 4 personnel required immediate evacuation, elected to remain behind as the rescue helicopter delivered them to a safe haven. With no Coast Guard assets available, he coordinated with the National Guard to evacuate the remaining survivors. Upon reaching another neighborhood, He rescued 2 elderly women trapped in their home, carrying them through flooded waters in their home to the rescue basket outside. On his final deployment, he rescued a woman, her daughter, and 2 dogs from the flooded home. Chief Ornot overcame the challenges presented by the hazardous environment to save 19 lives and assist 47 others. His courage, judgment, and devotion to duty are most heartily commended in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard. Yeah, buddy. All right.
Yep.
Let's go. Let's go.
That one, man. That was a long day, brother. So funny story with this one, right? So the boys down in New Orleans, there's a tradition, they call it the red dress run, and I think it's held in like August or whatever. And everyone that runs this thing, you dress up in a red dress and you go run like a 5K or something like that.
And
I
that's
wasn't
men
doing
and
it.
women. Everybody in that
Everybody,
race is dressed
everybody
up in a
wears,
red dress.
yeah, everybody wears a red dress. And so the boys are all like, hey, Chief, we're going to do this. I know the duty schedule's already made. Are you going to run? I'm like, no, I'm not going to run. So the one guy's like, hey, Chief, I hate to ask, but you care taking my duty this night? I'm like, yeah, man, whatever, I got it. I'm not running. You guys go have fun, doing my chiefly duties. I got the duty for you, dude. No worries.
Just take a picture of the shop and everybody in a red dress. That's all I asked for.
Yep.
There's the Christmas card.
Yep, there it is. Yep. But yeah, so yeah, man, we get called out. The alarm goes off in the morning, and it's gnarly out, like just sideways rain, super low ceilings. We're trying to wait for a window to take off, to get out to Baton Rouge. And we finally find a window. We go, we get above the clouds, and we start coming down through the soup, and we're like, we're not breaking out, 400 feet, 500 feet, nothing but soup. 300 feet, still can't see ground. 200 feet, can't see, still nothing. Get down like 150, 100 feet, and we finally pop out, and it's just the rivers are just completely just everywhere. Everything is, you're seeing just rooftops, and parking lots at Walmart are just are lakes, and we go to the one place where the first call came from, and that family that was there, they were in their trailer. It was up on, they had their trailer up on blocks and stuff, and they're, they were dry, but the water was moving so fast that day, like, it wasn't like just stand still. I wouldn't call it swift water, but it wasn't like just like random flood, looking like a mud puddle. Yeah, so got those guys, and then and at that point we're like, dude, there's got to be other people, because this came out of nowhere. I mean, it was a no-name tropical depression that just sat there. It's kind of like Harvey. It just sat there and just dumped rain for days, right? And we just started doing just flying real low and just taking tasking from sector. And the next thing was like pick up some lieutenant from his house. They couldn't get to the command center or something, so I was actually they couldn't land because the ground was too squishy there, right? So they get me close, and I hop out, and we're like a couple feet off the ground. I hop out and I go over and get the lieutenant, and I'm like, he's some boat guy or whatever. And I'm like, hey sir, your ride's here. He's like, all right, and his family's there taking pictures of him. Look at daddy getting in the helicopter, right? So we get over, and he's like, hey sir, they're gonna land. I'm like, the ground's too soft. They'll sink. Like, they'll go like super, super light on wheels, maybe if you can, like, but you should be able to put yourself up there, right? And we get close, and I was just messing around with him, right? So I go like this, and I put my hands out like I'm like, here, sir, you can And he literally grabs my shoulder and goes to step in my hand. I'm like, get off of me, like, like get your, this is terrible. But my flight mechanic is
Oh,
losing
PJ,
his,
that's awesome.
yeah, my flight mechanic is losing his mind, right? And he's just like, I can't believe you did that. I'm like, come on, man, you know. So he gets in. Yeah, we take him over and we drop him off, and he was never to be seen again by us. But yeah, we just started rolling around, and and you see the ones that were stranded in their house, the two older ladies, their son and grandson was standing out in their driveway, and he had heard us, going over top, and he comes out and he just starts waving his arms, and obviously we can't talk to him, and so I'm like, hey, I was like, hey, just put me down, let me see what's going on. Obviously, there's something wrong. You know what I mean? There's something wrong.
Yeah.
This kid's really, really trying to get a hold of somebody, and I get down there, and I'm like, hey, boy, how's it going? What's going on? And he's like, my mom and grandma they're stuck in the house. They're non-ambulatory, pretty big, big individuals stuck in there. They each had their own little like love seat, and the water was rising, and it was like chest high on them already as they're sitting in their love seat. And he's like, I don't know what to do. I can't get them, I can't get them out. I'm like, all right, man, like let's go in and see what we got, what we're working with. And I walk in the door and I'm like, oh my gosh, like water's just doing this, and they're picking
like
they're picking their head up, and they can't get
they're like so the water's
they
like
can't get
above
out of
their chest. Wow.
Yeah, they can't get out of their chairs. They're non-ambulatory. So I'm like, all right, buddy, I'm like, stay here, I'll be right back. I went outside, radioed up. I was like, all right, we gotta improvise a little bit here. I'm like, send me down the basket. I'm like, but I'm gonna be carrying this lady, so there's not gonna be any hand signals. I'm like, just, and we can't put the basket all the way down because it would, I don't think it would have worked well putting her in the basket. The water goes all the way down, and
Right.
all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, all right, let's just try to get it to, keep tension on the cable, and let's just make it happen. And once you see me put her in there, just start pulling her up. And trying to get a larger frame person out of a love seat. I tried the side scoop. The side scoop wasn't working. So I'm like, all right.
So I'm gonna ask because I want to know, and I know there are other people. Like, how large are we talking? Like, throw something out there. Give me.
I'm guessing well up into the high twos, maybe a 300.
Wow.
Yeah, they were both pretty large.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right,
and you're gonna try to like cradle carry.
I tried the cradle, and I'm a skinny man, like I was like, I don't know this. I'm like, all right, this isn't gonna work. So I'm like, all right, what about like just bear hug and like around the back? So I went in nice and close, and I grabbed grandma first. I'm like, all right, grandma, I'm like, I need the biggest hug that you've ever given anybody, and I need you to hold on to it. And so she wrapped her arms around me, like big, gigantic, big bear hug, and I reached underneath her hips, and it, like, not to be a jerk or anything, but it looked like I had grandma mounted on the front of me, and I'm walking out through the door, carrying her, because it's only like maybe waist high at that point, maybe slightly higher than waist high, but when they're sitting down. So I'm carrying her out, and the mechanic sees me, waddling out into the front yard, carrying grandma. He puts the basket down, and then put her in the basket. Everything works perfect. I'm like, man, this is great. Hoist her up, and I'm like, there's no way she's getting out of this basket. Like, he's got her in there. and there's nothing like there's not a chance that he's going to be able to, inside of the back of a 65, get her out of the basket. There's not a chance that I'm going to be able to get this other lady out, put her in the sling and bring her up, along with me. And just so happened, like as I was getting her up, there was a family down the road had a little John boat that we were going with, and I was like, can you guys get your John boat and come over here? And so they brought their little flat bottom John boat. I went in, got mama out same way, brought her out, put her in the John boat, and they were able to take her to just over to higher ground to where we can come back and pick her up after we went back, unloaded grandma, came back and picked up mama, was able just to like set her in the back and not put her in the basket, whenever we were able to land and get her out of there. But yeah, I mean, that day, it was like it was just one after another with that entire day. We get fuel, drop a couple people off. The coordination with that National Guard helicopter, that was pretty awesome. Like they put me down, and it's a bunch of people just piled up on looks like a little anthill, right? And
yeah,
I was able to get a couple of people out, and and they're like, all right. I'm like, dude, let me stay here. This way we know where we're at. There was a couple other ones that needed to go, and I'm like, let me just stay here and come back and get me, and I happened to see a National Guard helicopter, flying around, and I had my, big orange wetsuit on, and they were able to spot me, and I came up on 16, and they heard me and they responded, and I'm like, oh my God, this is great. They come in with a big old Black Hawk, and
yeah.
I'm like, we got this all day. And they came over, and I'm like, can you guys get these people? And they're like, yep, sure can. So they come over and they go light on wheels, like right in the area, walk these guys, walk the rest of the families over, put them in the plane. And they're like, you want to come? I'm like, no, my ride's on its way back now. It's like, this would have taken 4 trips. I'm like, you guys take all these guys. I'm like, this would take 4 trips. I'm like, we're gonna continue to go around. And so yeah, they took off, they left, and I was literally just, the plane comes back, and they're like, Chief, where the hell's everybody at? So I'm like, I landed a Black Hawk over there in the corner, and they took everybody else, and I'm just sitting here waiting for you guys, and they're just like, what the hell did you land a Black Hawk? I'm like, they saw me, and I figured, what the hell? I tried 16, they were listening, and everything worked out, Yeah, it was awesome.
BJ, that's freaking awesome, dude. I love it.
Yeah, and yeah, just and then the last one, we go to this trailer park, and a family of 5 is in this one trailer, and the whole trailer's moving, like it's about to start rolling, we've been at it for hours now, and waters are coming up, and they have a ladder rig to come out of their door, and the dad rigged a ladder, so he can get onto the roof. So I get down there, I get on the roof, and I'm like, hey, how many you got? He's like, I got 5 here. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, and there was 3 kids. There's mom, dad, and 3 kids. And I'm like, all right, we can make this work. Get everybody up onto the roof. We hoist mom and 2 babies, I think it was, and then dad and another baby and a dog. They went and took them, because we were operating like right at the end of the runway on Baton Rouge. So it was 5 minutes. Like, we quit hoisting, they'd go, and they were back in 5 to 7 minutes later. Like, they were just going, landing at the FBO, kicking people out. I mean, we just had piles of people there from all day of us doing that. So they come back, and then the trailer next door, the trailer next door, this mom and daughter is over there with their little dog, and I'm like, hey, are you guys good? Because we're running low, we're running low on gas now, and
Yeah.
they're like, oh yeah, we're good, we're fine, and I'm like, all right, no worries. I'm like, if you guys need something, dial 911. There was a another second of our second helicopter was up there doing some work. I'm like, well, call 911, tell them where you're at. We'll still be in the area. We can get back, or figure something out. And so I put dad in, put his daughter in, their little dog, and I hoist them up, and then they send down the bare hook. And then as I'm hooking in, and I look over, and the mom and daughter start waving, and they start screaming. They're like, "Get us out of here! Get us out of here!" And I'm like, I guess their trailer moved, right? Like it came off the blocks, and they're like,
Oh.
no, thank you. So I was just like, I gave them the just wait right there thing. We'll be right back. And get in a plane. I plug in real quick, and I was like, hey sir, I'm like, those two that their trailer must have moved or something, but those two next door are not in a good way. They started screaming at me as I was leaving, like, because I asked them before and they were good. I'm like, but when they saw me leaving, their little comfort blanket kind of went away, and they're like, hey, let's just get out of here now while we can. And so we're going back. He's like, PJ, I don't know if we got the gas to do it, and I'm like, all right, where's the other helicopter? We tried to hail the other helicopter, and he's like, you know what? He's like, we're just wasting time trying to do this. He goes, we got enough time, but we legit got like 3 minutes. Like by the time we drop these people off, get back over there, we're talking hover to, you better be in the, on your way up. We got like 3 minutes, no shit. I'm like, all right, we can make it happen. Like we knew exactly where they were. You know what I mean? Like we had just done the same thing like 20 feet away, right? And so they put me down. I put the daughter and the dog in the basket, and we previewed. I'm like, all right, just basket, and then we're gonna do a sad poo for the second lady, and so basket comes down, daughter goes up, and this lady's just super excited, and then she sees the little, the sling coming down. She's like, yeah, she's like, whoa. She's like, what's going on? I'm like, lady, you're about to go for the ride of your life. And she's like, what? She's like, what are we doing? I'm like, just hold on, I got you. And she's just like, and so we do it, and so this lady, right? So they started this Facebook page, like, so that was our last flight. We landed, and we couldn't fly all the way to the FBO. We had to land on the edge of the runway and taxi over because we were so low on gas, we were going to flame out. But I get back, we finally get back, and I get back home, and I'm in the shower, and I'm just like rubbing myself with like rubbing alcohol and stuff, just getting all the nasty crap off of me, right? So my wife comes in, and she's like, PJ, and we're like, what? She's like, do you remember this? She starts reading me this Facebook post, right? So the people in Louisiana, and it's still out there, and I can't remember what it's called, but they did a really good job of embarrassing me at on my retirement day. Like my buddy Matt, he read the Facebook post like in front of everybody on retirement day. It was freaking hysterical. But this lady put like this long, dramatic Facebook post thing out that like broke the internet. Like, I don't know, broke fucking internet, whatever. But my wife's reading it. She's like, "Is this you?" And I'm like, "Oh my god!" I remember the exact lady. I remember the exact, the exact lady, exact what she was wearing. And my engineering officer sold me out. Like he, because I didn't have, I didn't have Facebook and all that other kind of crap. And so my wife's showing it, and I'm scrolling down through the comments, and there was thousands and thousands of comments, right? And I'm scrolling through, and I'm like, that's my engineering officer. And then he freaking sells me out and tells me who it is, or tells the lady who it was, right? So then this lady's reaching out. She reaches out through my wife, writes me the nicest letter ever, like just, just so cool. Like, nice message to my wife. And dude, on my retirement date, my buddy Matt and my sister, they got this bright idea on how to embarrass me, right? As I'm on stage and doing all this other kind of shit. They reached out to her, and she sent a video message that I had no idea about, that they
What?
yeah, she sent a video message congratulating, a thank you note again, like, so what, 8 years later, something like that. I forget what year that was when I did that, but 8 years later, just thanking us again, and just a heartfelt. It was really, really cool, really cool.
That's pretty badass, man. That's killer.
Super fun. Yeah, so they did a great job embarrassing me, and that was the last one that day. Like, we were done. We were smoked after that one, and those guys, the boys, after they finished their red dress run, and they were able to get a couple more guys up there, and two guys kept operations going on through the rest of the night, and the rest of the guys did great work as well too, all through the night long, and for 2 or 3 days up there, just doing the King's business, man. They killed it, but yeah, that was just a lighter end of the spectrum of, they do their best to try to embarrass you. And man, she was so nice. Like, I remember them trying to get me to go on this TV show with them and stuff, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that shit, man. No, it's not a chance. Not a chance. Yeah, I was like, nah, freaking not a chance. But yeah, it was awesome. And once again, like, just how everybody comes together.
Yeah.
Army National Guard helicopter sees one of their guy from a different service helping out, and they're like, yep, man, we got it. It's just, once again, super cool on how everything goes together, and people are able to just want to help. I just want to help out. They see somebody in need and just want to help out.
Dude.
Well.
Again, well done, you and your entire crew. That's well, man, that's a story. That's a set of rescues right there, man.
Yeah.
Wow, freaking badass, bro. All right, I'm going one more. This is the last one you got me, or you sent me. So this one is a let's see, achievement medal, and here's how this one reads: citation to accompany the award of the Coast Guard Achievement Medal, Gold Star in lieu of fifth to P.J. Ornot, Chief Aviation Survival Technician, United States Coast Guard. Chief Ornot is cited for superior performance of duty while serving in support of Hurricane Irma operations in the U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, the Bahamas, and Key West, Florida, from 5 to 12 September 2017. As the rescue swimmer on 6047, Chief Ornot professionalism was instrumental in the successful delivery of a 12-person team and 2 860 helicopters from the Bahamas to Puerto Rico just one day ahead of the hurricane's arrival. He helped facilitate critical operations that included damage assessment, the transportation of government response personnel, an area overflight with members of the national media, and urgent medical evacuation of a man with serious head trauma. He also supported the transport of a stranded H-65 helicopter crew from San Juan to Aguadilla, Puerto Rico. Meanwhile, he reliably maintained aircraft survival equipment to ensure mission success. As a crew member on board his first asset to reach the Florida Keys, he provided search and rescue capabilities and performed post-hurricane assessment for District 7. Chief Petty Officer Ornot, diligence, perseverance, and devotion to duty are most heartily commended in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard. Well, that is one heck of a way to finish this off, man. So, like, you're going from Bahamas to Puerto Rico back to Florida. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. It was man. Air Station Clearwater is they call it a machine. Like we books and and all that kind of stuff. And I had just gotten here, and I went down. I took a deployment down to the Bahamas, for this, and it just so happened like it was right. So it was right when Harvey hit. So I was in the Bahamas when Harvey hit. So Clearwater starts sending, we start sending helicopters and people over to Houston to help out with Harvey, and I'm down in the Bahamas, and so we get a phone call, and they're like, hey, you guys are coming back this way, and you're headed straight to Houston from the Bahamas. We're like, all right. So we pack up we're packing up the air facility, get rid of all of our food, because we're leaving, we're shutting down the facility, and we're about to take off, and so we've got everybody crowded into helicopters, getting ready to spin up on APU, and the site supervisor comes out, and he's like, nope, and we're like, what is going on? And that was right when Irma formed, and they're like, we're staying here. Another hurricane just formed in the Caribbean, and we're going to stay down here to provide support to. It looks like it's going to hit St. Thomas, St. Croix, Puerto Rico, all that, a lot of the Lesser Antilles. I'm like, all right. So we come back, stay one more day in the Bahamas, pack up the air facility again. Now we're headed to Puerto Rico. We get to Puerto Rico, old stomping grounds. I love that place. We get in there, we button everything down. We're gonna ride the storm out, and then take off after the storm hits. Puerto Rico's got a really, really big hangar that's able to withstand some pretty high winds. And so we loaded everything up in there, buttoned down the hatches. Next day, wake up, and we start rolling over to. So it ended up just barely hitting PR, and going right over top of St. Thomas, and St. John, and I think it hit St. Croix a little bit, like the eye where the eye went over. So we fly over there, just doing some damage assessment, and just helping out where we can. And that's where same thing. Lady comes out of her. We're flying over. Lady comes out of her house, waving her arms, and a wall had collapsed on her husband, and was trapped. Trapped in the house.
No way.
So we find a place to land, go over, get this guy out from underneath this wall, package him up, put him in a plane, and then we take him back to San Juan. We land in San Juan. There's just some other little stuff that day that that went down, but came back to San Juan, dropped the guy off at the hospital, went to go get some gas at the FBO there, and the 65 crew was there, and they broke down. So picked those guys up, flew them back home to Aguadilla, spent the night in Aguadilla. Next day, got up. We were getting ready to go do another patrol, and they're like, all right, you guys are now headed back to. I think we went back to the air facility. That was closed down, so we're like, here we go again, backpacking our crap up, 4 of us plus a maintainer, get in the back of this helicopter, fly from PR back to the air facility, land there, everything's good. They're like, all right, you guys are spending the night there. The next day, flew over Turks and Caicos. Next day, we went up to our other air facility, like just literally following this storm the whole time. It was it's crazy just seeing like
Wow.
the coordination on how this all worked, you know, and we're all living out of our tiny little backpacks and gear bag, and we're just landing somewhere, and we'd sleep, find a place to sleep, and wake up the next day, fuel, go to the next place. Okay, everything's good here. Um, yeah, I ended up going up to the other air facility, and then the next morning followed the storm over into Key West. Um, Flew the entire length of the Keys. You know, it did some pretty good damage, but nothing catastrophic. Um, Came back, landed in Miami, spent like two nights in Miami, hung out there for a little bit, and finally I started making phone calls. I'm like, you got to get us out of here. Like everything is calmed down, you know, for at this point.
Yeah.
And um, you know, I started calling back and talking to senior, talking to master chief. I'm like, look, dudes, we're really not doing anything down here. We've been gone for, you know, going on 3 weeks at this time. And I'm like, it's time to get a relief crew. You're 2 hours away by helicopter. There's no reason we
Yeah.
can't
Yeah. Yeah.
get some fresh people down here so we can, you know, so we can get back and, you know, see how, because it was coming up to hit Clearwater next. Like it was going up the west coast of Florida, you know. So we were able to get back here. Like I think it was 2 days after Irma hit back here, you know, just to, you know, to be with our families and stuff, the guys that were gone. And, you know, then they sent another crew down there. Like once everything was all right, you know, they sent a couple more crews down there and, you know, finished doing the King's business and all that kind of stuff down there. But yeah, like, well, once again, man, I'm like, geez, like this crap never ends, you know, like I take a deployment, you know, I'm like, man, I'm gonna go down to the Bahamas, I'm gonna hang out for a little bit, you know, do some cool flying. And it's
Yeah.
like, nope, go here you go. Pack up your bag and you're going here now. But just really, you know, it's really cool seeing how everything goes and you know, on how mobile that we can actually be, you know, to be able to respond to anything pretty much anywhere, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
with that platform. But
Yeah. It's amazing what
mm,
like coast I'm gonna speak Coast Guard specific, but
yeah,
we can or the Coast Guard can throw a helicopter together, a crew, probably two, and say, go, and you're wherever you need to be
self-sufficient.
in the
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, yep.
Yep.
Okay, you got fuel. Yep, cool. You got Prists to make sure that you know there's no water there.
Yep.
Yep, got
Just in
it.
case. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Just in case. Yeah.
You got a
And
place to
it's
sleep? Probably not. Oh, look, you got the aircraft. Yeah, just
yeah,
you know,
yeah. Well, they'll figure it out, man. And
I got a
yeah,
phone book and a desk. I'm good.
they always find a way. And you know,
Yeah.
that was some of the most impressive stuff. You know, especially later, you know, like later on in you know, my last few years. Um, you know, once I made senior chief, and I still flew, but I was like the break glass in case of emergency guy. You know, like whenever someone was when you know when people were hurt, and I still, you know, I still
Yeah.
enjoyed you know, I loved going out and flying. And but you know, it was a young man's game, and I
Right.
was 49 when I retired, you know, so
Yeah.
it's time to hang him up, you know. And or else I'd still be going if I could have, you know, if I didn't have to move, I probably would have stayed in, you know. I just enjoyed it that much. But yeah, it was just really cool seeing that later, and like being on the other end, you know, helping out with you know, logistics and planning, and you know, being able to foresee what their next move was gonna be, because you know, because we've been there, been around the block, seen what things were, how, you know, how things shook up. And you know, had the experience and knowledge to be able to, you know, to prep the, you know, prep the boys, telling them, advising them like, hey man, take this, take that, you know, no need to take your PlayStation down there. You're not gonna be, you know what I mean? Like you're gonna be working. You know,
Leave
you're just
your
wasting
Nintendo
space.
Wii at home. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Grab that
you're able to,
MRE instead.
yeah, yeah, grab an extra bit of water and food, you know. But yeah, so yeah, dude, that was it. That was the last bits of them, you know.
That is one hell of a career, man. And
Yeah.
geez, I really appreciate you going over like all of this with us. But there's just so much of it that all right. So disclaimer: when I
Right.
originally started doing the podcast, I really just wanted to do like one episode per rescue, make it like a little 20-minute. Yeah, let's hear the rescue and then be done with it. And I can't get enough, man. I
Right.
really
Yeah.
can't. Like I love it so much. I love everything we've done, that we do, and I love hearing the stories. So
Yeah.
thank you so
Yeah.
much for sharing them.
Yeah, man. No worries. It's great hearing them. I love listening. Love listening to your podcast. I listen to
Oh, thanks.
I listen to one with Mike Odell and Butch and all those all those old guys. Like those are like my mentors growing up. Growing up in
Right.
this, and like Mike was instructors of ours. Then I end up
Yeah.
having the pleasure of working with him again at East City. And it's just you know just really really cool listening to some of the older guys talk about things that they had to overcome. Then they got the older guys, then you got the old guys like me. And then now you got this whole new breed of these guys that are guys and girls that are going out and doing the job and different challenges. And
Right.
I still talk to the guys down here now. They call me every once in a while just to check in. And I'll go out and do something with them and just kind of hang out or whatever. But yeah, listening to them again, it's really cool to be seeing the camaraderie. And they don't forget about the old man being down the corner.
Oh, that's great. I love it.
Yeah.
It's a good thing too, because if you don't, you're gonna have to go in there and whoop their ass. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't. Those guys are fit now, man. Like just when you think you're fit and you go in there now, and these 20 somethings and 30 somethings, and they're a whole different length, a whole different breed of fast, strong, and just it's impressive. It's impressive the way that the product that these guys that are out there right now doing that job.
Excellent.
Super,
Excellent.
it's super impressive.
You know what? It was supposed to get better with age and
Right.
experience.
And
man,
I feel like we do. I feel like we do. I mean, I think we held our own at D-Cert. I remember seeing you on the rope climb one. You killed it.
You know what? All right. So actually, let's talk about that just for a second, because when you think about it, right? You and I are. I'm 500. You're 514. So we're right now right in the middle. The guys before us, you talked about Mike Odell, Butch Flythe. You had Bob Watson, Kurt Revels, Will Milam, all these guys that really like set it up for us, right?
Right.
Then our group of guys has really set it up for the next guys coming up. And all you young guys, you're welcome. All right. Just throw it.
You're welcome. Dude, I gotta tell you, not to keep rattling on, but like, leaving and going, when I was an instructor, right? And then seeing these guys now that are, the students that I put through, when I was there in my 4 years, these guys are making first and chief. And you want to talk about some cool things to see is those guys coming up through the ranks, and watching them take your place as you're walking out, and and just seeing the growth from remembering those guys whenever they come in and they couldn't, they didn't know which way was left or right, and they would forgot to shave their one hair they had on their chin back then, and now they're taking on, they're taking the world on now, head on and as a leadership role, and they're doing great, and it's really awesome. It's really awesome to see them succeed, and we're gonna be in good hands. We're gonna be in good hands.
Oh yeah. Oh, no doubt. You know what, you guys that were instructors, you set the tone. The guys for us that put us through, and made us cry once in a while, or?
Yep.
All right, they didn't quite make us cry, but I certainly felt like crying many times. I was a tough guy.
I cried on my own. Yeah, I cried on my own.
Where nobody saw me, all right?
Yeah, that's right. So we can deny it. We can deny
That's
it.
right. All right, PJ. Well, I'm going to ask one more thing, and that's advice that you would give to everybody that's still out there, or you've been through. What an amazing career, amazing rescues all the way through. What would you pass on to everybody else?
Take care of yourself. Physically, mentally. Talk to your peers. Talk to professionals. Train like you fight. I see you still getting after it. You never know when that day is going to come, and you need to rely on everything that you've ever done, and you'll make it work. I know they all will, and you guys are paid to be in shape and be able to be free thinkers, and everyone's gonna do great, man. So just take care of yourself, train hard, and that's really all I got, man. That's it.
Hoorah, brother. Hoorah.
Yeah, bro.
PJ, I cannot thank you enough for coming on and just going over all these stories with us. It just absolutely incredible. I'm so grateful. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Quinny, man. I appreciate you having me, bro. This is awesome.
Oh, my pleasure. And the next time I get to Florida, I'm calling you. We're going to get back some brews. All right.
100%. Definitely, dude. Definitely.
Awesome.
Definitely.
All right, brother. We'll catch you later.
Yep.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Real ResQ podcast. Please take a minute to like, subscribe, and hit that share button. I'm pulling chocks and taking off. But before I go, if anyone out there has a rescue story they would be willing to share, I would be humbled and honored to have you on as a guest. Or if you have any questions about rescue or anything else we talk about here, send an email to jason@therealresq.com. That's Jason at TheRealResQ.com. You can also check us out on our web pages, therealresq.com, our Facebook page, and our Instagram page @TheRealResQ. Again, a special thank you to all of you staying on the watch today. Always remember, when that SAR alarm goes off, those in distress are praying for a miracle. They are going to get you. Until next time, fly safe and swim hard.